Taylor Swift is no longer friends with Blake Lively. I firmly believe this. And the evidence is here because People magazine, who has been typically Team Blake, has now turned and says their friendship has halted. The singer wants no part in this drama. I mean, who doesn't believe this? If you're a Swiftie, how do you not believe this? Of course she wants no part of drama. She never wants part of, she likes to cause some drama. She does cause her own drama when she feels it's justified, and she shuts down drama with her lawyers and her reps all the time.
Something is breaking in Hollywood, and it's happening fast. A friendship once thought to be one of the strongest in celebrity culture may now be over. And if the rumors are true, it's ending not with a quiet fade, but with serious accusations, high-stakes subpoenas, and a trail of damage that no PR team can spin.
But let's go through what this source says. Insiders shed light on where the friends stand. We know where they stand. They don't stand anywhere near each other anymore. It's halted, a source tells People. The two stars are taking some space, but their friendship isn't completely over yet. I think that's a nice, stop this, Blake, end this lawsuit, and maybe we'll see. But Swift was issued the subpoena, and of course that upset her. The battle against Justin Baldoni continues. Multiple sources tell People exclusively that the actress's relationship with Swift is struggling as the singer faces a subpoena by Baldoni's legal team. I'll tell you right up, it was struggling when she read Blake Lively speaking about her friend in private and using her, labeling her dragon. That's a pretty hard thing to not see again. Whoa, that's what you think of me? I'm here to be your chess piece and you use me to get how you want? Oh, and then by the way, it turns out Justin maybe wasn't as bad as you kept telling me he was, and I'm seeing all this stuff come in and it clearly is more complicated, and now I'm being dragged in to this drama. Imagine being a friend with somebody like that. You would not want to be involved with that friend. You would look at them differently. Of course that's what's happening here. So yeah, the friendship has halted, a source says close to Swift. Taylor wants no part in this drama.
Taylor Swift has apparently had enough of Blake Lively. The woman she once called a sister, a confidant, and the godmother of her children is now, according to insiders, facing the full weight of Swift's legal machine. Why? Because Blake may have crossed a line that even Hollywood doesn't forgive, allegedly trying to extort Taylor Swift. It's the kind of story you wouldn't believe if it didn't come with so many receipts, leaks, and insider whispers. Let's rewind. For years, Taylor Swift and Blake Lively were inseparable. From glamorous award shows to quiet holiday dinners, their friendship seemed unshakable. Taylor wrote songs inspired by Blake's kids. Blake and her husband Ryan Reynolds were a staple in Taylor's tight inner circle. It was the kind of bond that felt real in an industry built on illusions. Until now, everything began to shift with the controversy surrounding the film adaptation of It Ends With Us, the project that put Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni on a collision course. Lawsuits flew, allegations followed. Baldoni accused Lively of defamation and, in a shocking twist, named Taylor Swift in the mess. At first, most people thought it was a reach. Why would Taylor be dragged into this? She wasn't part of the production. She wasn't involved in the development. Or so we thought. According to legal documents and sources close to the situation, Baldoni's team claims that Blake's camp pressured Taylor to publicly back her side in the lawsuit. Not with a neutral statement, not with a vague show of support, but with full-throated backing. And allegedly, when Taylor hesitated, threats began. The kind of threats that don't stay in group chats or private conversations. The kind that involve leaked text messages. 10 years worth? Allegedly. What shocked many was not just that Taylor's name appeared in legal filings, but that she was actually subpoenaed. Her team immediately went on alert, releasing a rare public statement dismissing the subpoena as a publicity stunt. But behind the scenes, insiders say Taylor was furious. Not just because her name was dragged through the mud, but because she realized that someone she trusted, Blake, may have used their friendship as a weapon. And here's where things start to unravel. Reports now say that Taylor Swift is no longer speaking to Blake Lively. The distance isn't just emotional, it's legal. Taylor's team has reportedly warned Blake's attorneys to back off, or risk facing a defamation countersuit of their own. And for Swift, who is known for shutting down false narratives with surgical precision, the silence from her usually tight PR ship speaks volumes. Taylor's representatives have not issued the typical denials that would usually shut down a false claim. And that silence has left many Swifties wondering, is this the clearest sign yet that the friendship is done? People magazine, which historically leaned in Blake's favor, recently ran a piece suggesting the friendship between Taylor and Blake has halted. That's not a word they throw around lightly. For a publication that avoids fanning the flames, to say the bond is halted means something irreversible has happened. Insiders close to Swift say she feels blindsided, that the alleged pressure campaign from Blake left her with no choice but to lawyer up, that seeing private conversations framed as leverage crossed an ethical line, that the whole situation, in Taylor's mind, feels like betrayal. Think about it from her perspective. She's on a global tour. She's dating Travis Kelce. She's managing her billion-dollar brand, balancing fan expectations and media scrutiny every day. The last thing she needed was for someone from her inner circle to drag her into a legal battle over a movie she had no part in. But here's the wildest part. Some sources believe Taylor's own team may have been the ones to leak to People magazine. If true, that's a major shift in tone. That means Swift is no longer protecting the friendship behind the scenes. She's letting the truth speak for itself and letting the public read between the lines. Some are saying this is Taylor's quiet warning to Blake. Stop dragging me into your drama, or I will respond, legally. And let's talk about those alleged texts. Baldoni's team claims they have 10 years of messages that show Blake allegedly manipulating conversations, framing Justin in a certain light, and even weaponizing her connection to Taylor to boost her case. Whether those texts are real, edited, or totally fabricated remains to be seen, but even the threat of their existence has shifted the power dynamic. Swift's legal team reportedly believes those messages, if used, would violate attorney-client privilege, and they're ready to fight it in court. That means things are escalating. This isn't just gossip anymore. It's a legal landmine, and Swift wants out before any of it detonates. Some fans are even pointing to social media clues. Taylor hasn't publicly interacted with Blake or Ryan Reynolds in months. Meanwhile, Travis Kelce has reportedly unfollowed Ryan on Instagram, which in the world of Hollywood is the equivalent of throwing down a gauntlet. That might seem petty, but in a world where relationships are curated down to the pixel, unfollowing is a statement. And then there's the silence. Taylor Swift, a master of messaging, who shut down AI images of herself within hours of their release, who called out Apple Music with a Tumblr post that changed corporate policy, who once got Spotify to blink, has said nothing publicly to support Blake. That's not an oversight. That's intentional. If Swift wanted to end the rumors, she could have done so with one tweet, one Instagram story, one joint appearance, but none of that has happened. Instead, her team is letting the distance speak louder than words. Meanwhile, Blake is trying to manage the fallout. Sources close to her claim the whole situation has been misunderstood, that she never meant to drag Taylor into the lawsuit, and that any references to Taylor in filings were purely procedural. But the damage may already be done. It's hard to walk back from a moment like this, especially when more friends are starting to back away. Gigi Hadid, once a fixture in Blake's circle, has reportedly cut ties. She was last seen supporting Taylor's tour, cheering her on from the VIP section, not a lively party. And in Hollywood, loyalty is currency. If Gigi is choosing sides, she's not the only one. Even studio insiders are whispering that Ryan Reynolds is feeling the pressure. One executive allegedly warned him to distance the brand from the drama. That's code for, your wife's mess is starting to impact your career. And with Deadpool and Wolverine set to hit theaters soon, the last thing he needs is more noise. As all of this unfolds, Taylor Swift is staying quiet. But make no mistake, this isn't passive. This is strategic. By not speaking, she's letting the headlines build, letting Blake's camp panic, letting the public and the industry realize that she won't be used. She's already taken legal steps to block the release of any private texts. She's already warned media outlets not to mischaracterize her role. And she's already, quietly, restructured her inner circle. Blake Lively, once at the center of that circle, now finds herself firmly on the outside. Some say this is the beginning of the end of Blake's Hollywood reign, that losing Taylor means losing access, losing influence, losing the public goodwill she once enjoyed. Others believe she'll bounce back, that she'll find a way to spin the narrative. But either way, the trust is broken. And when Taylor Swift decides you've broken that trust, the consequences aren't just personal, they're public. What do you think really happened between Taylor and Blake? Do you believe the extortion rumors, or is this just another case of Hollywood gone haywire? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to stay tuned, because this story isn't over. Not by a long shot.